What is saying, people? TWP back with a bang. Here I am to bring you guys another video today. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to navigate this stock market, how to make money in this stock market, what you should be doing in this stock market. And the reason I'm saying this stock market is because these tips and tricks are very, very accurate and relatable to this specific stock market we're in right now. That is a stock market where it is the last week of a trading month. That is a stock market where it is the month before a typically bearish month. That is a stock market where things are working and moving in a certain way. That's a market where we're expecting rate cuts soon. That's a market where a huge stock is going to report earnings in a couple of days. So we'll get into all that in just a second. But the first thing I want you guys to do is drop a thumbs up. Drop a huge thumbs up for me, a big thumbs up, because these videos do take time. It does help with the algorithm as well. So please, anytime you can drop a thumbs up, comment or share, do that. And if you're new around here, always subscribe. So let's talk about this stock market. Let's talk about what I'm talking about today. So for context, we're in the last trading week of August 2024, and we've had a pretty good month. Now, in September, we're expecting a typically bearish month, but we have big news next month. We're going to be seeing rate cuts, and we'll see how this affects the markets. Now, I have my bias or thoughts about how this will affect the markets. We shall see if that does occur. But as I mentioned, in 2 days, we have Nvidia stock, ticker symbol NVDA, reporting their earnings after hours. So this is huge for a few different reasons. One, this is 7% of the S&P 500. It's 22% of the SMH. It is a huge stock. It's a company that has, I think, gone up almost 600% in the past 2 years. It's a company that recently did a stock split. There are so many things riding on this company's earnings. And for that reason, that is actually going to largely dictate how the market performs on Wednesday, or not only Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday. So how we end the week and end the month. That being said, obviously, it can go up, it can go down, it can go whichever way. But what I am telling you is the market, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 is largely going to move that way. It's very likely to move that way, the same way Nvidia does. Now, if Nvidia decides to consolidate, stay around the same prices, doesn't make a huge move, then it's going to be intriguing what happens with the market. But if Nvidia does run 5, 6, 7%, drops 10%, whatever the case is, expect to see the market do similar things. Now, to begin with, I'm going to start sharing my screen, show you guys the kind of thing I do when I'm looking at stocks, when I am, researching in my spare time, because it is something that will definitely benefit you and your trading as well. So I want you guys to succeed in the stock market. I want this channel was built for you guys to succeed in the stock market. So one of the first things I do, like I said, is jump onto Yahoo Finance, look at different news articles, go over to TradingView, CNBC, Bloomberg. You have all these websites at your fingertips to use. So Dow closed at record high, while S&P 500 NASDAQ slide as tech lags. So you can see tech has an effect on the NASDAQ. You should know that as well. And you can read different articles about oil. Here we go. NASDAQ 100 falls 1% as Nvidia hit before earnings. Market wrap. So Nvidia got hit today. We'll talk about that in a sec. Look at TradingView. If you look at the Nvidia chart from today, we're expecting to see how badly it sold off. And of course, it sold off heavily. All the way from 131 down to lows of 125.70. But if you zoom out, this is what you will see. The daily chart of Nvidia is bullish. From the lows at $91 earlier in the month, all the way up to $127. We are clearly bullish. And that's one thing we talked about in Discord. When it was selling down at 118, 115, we said this is a great price point to buy it. It sold off all the way to 90 and then started recovering. Look at the S&P 500. Similar story, very similar chart. But overall, if you zoom out, we're clearly bullish. From the beginning of this year, we're at about 4.7K to now we're at 5.6K, and where we were also last month at all-time highs, 5.6K. We've seen a crazy amount of bullish momentum. Yeah, we pulled on back, but we're back up where we were a month ago. No need for the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, none of that. So to look at Yahoo Finance again, as I mentioned, Friday, we always have big news. Friday, we had Jackson Hole speech. Next week, Friday, we've got unemployment numbers, NFP. All of these things have an effect on the market. On Friday, we were told that rates were going to be cut next month. We're going to see rate cuts next month, September. A gauge of the Magnificent Seven, mega cap slid 1.2%. Another word you need to know, mega cap. You need to know what a mega cap is. A small cap, a mid cap. More than half of the shares in S&P 500 gained, blah, blah, blah. Here we go, small caps finished little changed after climbing almost 1%. But there are many different articles, many different bits of news you can read. And it doesn't cost you anything just to read for a little bit. Those are the kind of bits of information which are going to help you when it comes to the stock market. So yeah, as I said, if you are reading an article like this and you see Magnificent Seven, you don't know that they're talking about Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, you need to go and read up. Find different definitions, find different bits of news, find different words which mean something important. Again, rate cuts, September cut, Jackson Hole. You should know what these things are. Here we go. Don't sleep on Nvidia earnings. A consistent driver of S&P 500 returns. As we know, Nvidia has huge expectations. As we know, Nvidia holds 7% of the S&P 500, 22% of the SMH sector. We will look at those as well. But my point here is there's a lot of different bits of news on Yahoo Finance, on CNBC or Bloomberg, where you can find out information. TradingView is just for you to look at the chart. You can see what you're actually reading about. Now, let me explain something to you in regards to this stock market that we're currently trading in. Sector rotation is going to occur. But right now, tech is hot. SMH. You can see some semiconductors in this sector. Look at the chart. August, we rallied. Of course, we sold off in July, but August we rallied. We're bullish. It's very obvious. When you look at SMH, you look at AMD, compare the charts. AMD, same chart. TSM, same chart. We sold off until the first couple of days of August trading, and then we rallied and recovered. Now, if we're hanging above the moving averages, we are bullish. If we are starting to downtrend the moving average crossing the downside, it is more bearish. But in this case, we are steadily trading at a bullish range. Now, I pull up the 50-minute chart so you can kind of see just different days, like what can occur. Some days, the market's going to just sell off. Some days, it's going to be fluctuating. Here, you see make higher highs and higher lows. Other days, we're going to make lower highs and lower lows, or we're going to just tank straight off. Straight out of the gates, you just tank. It depends. Again, Thursday, just sold off. It really depends, but you need to just trade this accordingly to how you trade. Look at the 5-minute chart as well. You can notice patterns. That could be seen as a triple top there on the 5-minute chart. That's what some people would see it as. That's what I would see it as. Other people would see different patterns along different charts. AMD, maybe not a triple top, maybe a H pattern. All of these things you need to take into consideration when you are trading. Look at that straight, 10 or 15 red candles on the 5-minute chart before we got a test of the moving average. You see the test, you see the retest. You see how badly it's selling off. What would make you not want to get inputs on something like this for a day trade? Another thing, and it's just like when I see these kind of things, it reminds me of other things to remind you of. Day trade, swing trade, scalp, what are you looking to do? If you have a stock like CRM reporting earnings Wednesday after hours, you're going to swing trade it when you don't know they're reporting earnings? No, you will probably day trade that. Either way, you need to figure out when they're reporting earnings. You see an E there, you just click on the E. It's pretty simple. There we go, earnings and revenue, Wednesday after hours. That's when they tell us what their earnings per share was, the actual earnings per share, the actual revenue, how business is going. They're going to have guidance to talk about how the company is going, the growth outlook for the future, what their plans are. All of these things are important. You need to understand a little bit about this. You don't have to understand every single thing about this, especially with an earnings call where it's extremely long. But you need to understand a stock like Snow last week that was clearly bullish can sell off due to earnings. Look how much it sold off. From $137 all the way to $114. Now it's just recovering and we're going to trade course to the upside, but look at that huge uptrend before it just sold off due to earnings. So if you're trading a stock that you don't know reporting earnings, you're not trading right. You should be knowing, especially when you pull up a chart, if a stock is reporting earnings, if a company is reporting earnings, at least when they're reporting earnings, at least trade it accordingly. Look at that crazy red candles on a 4-hour chart. Imagine someone taking calls and not knowing that Snow was reporting earnings. They would have been clapped. That's my point with this. You don't want to be that person who gets your calls or your puts clapped overnight just because you didn't know something simple which has such an effect like reporting earnings. And then when you have companies that sell off heavily, like a Snow, this is what's great about it. You see the recovery already. You saw that Friday we traded the recovery up $2. That helped us make almost $500 in about 10 minutes. I'll pull that one up on screen for you as well. It is pretty simple when it comes to some of these stocks. If a company is way oversold, wait for a confirmation of reversal, wait for a little bit of consolidation, and you're going to see an uptrend. When the uptrend does occur, guess what? You can make money to the upside. You can get shares at a discounted price. You can get shares at a low price and then reap the rewards when the stock does start to recover, starts to rally again. I just want to show you guys how we do this in this market, how we navigate in this market, because there's going to be a lot of people who are lost, who don't understand how the market works, who don't know what to do in certain markets. In this specific market, this is how you trade it. You have to have a plan first and foremost. I would like to trade calls on this stock. I would like to trade puts on this stock. I would like to grab shares of this stock. Obviously, no matter what plan you may have, it's not going to work unless you execute. You're going to have to click those buttons. But keep it in perspective. If you spend $200 on a play and your return is $700, $800, you've got to be satisfied with that. That's crazy returns. If you spend $600 and you're getting $20, $30 back, then maybe you're going to be looking for a little bit more profit. But on the other hand, if you spend $50 or $60 and you're down $4 or $5, it honestly might be time to cut out, because that's 10%. If you're spending $100 and you're losing 40, 50, you might say in your mind it's only 40 or 50. But in theory, you've lost half of your money. Those things need to be kept. You need to keep things in perspective. Which is why I say, if you're making $100, $200, $300 within a couple hours in this market, think about, you might see other people making more, but think about your job or jobs you've worked. I know if I make $400 or $500 in less than an hour with the stock market, I can take profit happily. Me personally, I've never worked any single job that pays anywhere close to that. Some of you may be fortunate or lucky enough to have worked jobs, or you may work jobs which pay $400, $500 in an hour. Those jobs do exist. But for me, I've never had the opportunity. I've never had that chance. So if I get a 500 or 600 return within an hour, within 10, 15 minutes, do not be surprised if I'm taking profit. Don't be surprised. Because again, I've never had a job that has paid that much. So if you're in the markets, you're pressing the buttons, you're trading, you're executing on your plan, what else you need to do? You cannot get greedy. You can't get greedy. Why? Because this market will bite you back. The same market that gave you $800 in a day is going to take $1,500 from you the next day. The same market that gives you 20, 30, 40% returns on a play within a couple minutes is going to make you take a 20, 30, 40% loss, 20, 30, 40% hit, a big L within minutes when it does want to. So you need to be smart with how you trade the market. You need to be smart with the plays you take, how you execute, what you're doing with your money. And then the last thing I can say, at least for this market, is focus on managing your trade, because it relates into everything else I've said. You may have had a plan. You may have executed well. You may have pressed the buttons. You may have made the crazy returns or taken a quick loss. But if you don't manage a trade, things can go from bad to worse very quickly. Today in the Discord, we traded QQQ calls to start the day as it was slowly rising. Obviously, very quick time, it started downtrending. I could even show you guys that. Just look at QQQ from today. I'll put up the 5-minute chart so you can see this live time. All right. So we got in very early, under 480. Started to break above the moving average. But if you look at the 15-minute chart, we were too early, right? We didn't even break above the moving average on the 15-minute chart. Cool, it started to downtrend. We got out at just under a 25% loss. All right, not too bad. Now imagine instead of getting out up here, you get out down here or here or here or here or anywhere after. You would have lost pretty much 70, 80% of your money. Why do that? Why not manage your trade and lose 20, 25% instead of 70, 80, 90%? If you were winning and we had puts, sure, hold it to all the way down here. Sure, if it's just trading the trend, yeah. But no point holding calls when it's starting to downtrend. And you're seeing a clear reversal and you're seeing more blood. It's just common sense. I mean, right now, it's pretty easy to say. When you're actually in the trade, I can imagine it's a lot harder because you're thinking, you're hoping, you're like, oh, do I see some bullish signs? Oh, do I see some call flow? No, you don't see any of that. You're going to get clapped if you hold too long. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Just want to give you guys some tips, tricks, insights into this market. As I always say, if you want to learn more about this market, you can tap in with us at the Royal Trading Academy. We are also hosting different live sessions each and every day, talking about stocks, doing the breakdowns, seeing the charts, calling out plays, all that kind of stuff and more. So come check out the Royal Trading Academy. That's the first link in the description below. Check it out. Second link in the description below, the stock option starter pack. Thank you to those of you who bought it over the weekend. And thank you especially to June who left a tip as well. That is very much appreciated. Always welcome. But that stock option starter pack talks about how I trade options, different kind of options, the trading strategies, my trading strategies, my biggest wins, losses, the things I've learned from them, the Greeks, all that and a lot more. It's 3 hours long, so go check that one out. And of course, follow me on all social media at The Wealth Prince. But that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you manage your money in this market. I'm going to be making, you're going to be making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.